parliamentary privilege, refused to give it. The Privy Council ordered that it be given. But the more robust approach adopted by Hammersmith J, as he then was, in Boudram versus the Attorney General of Trinidad and Tobago, is probably to be preferred in our context. In Boudram, the privilege which was sought to be asserted was analogous to that which was sought to be used in Toussaint. The state argued that the publication in Parliament of a report, the infamous Scott drug report, was no business of Mr. Boudram, whose name was mentioned throughout the report, and that its publication could create no right of action against the state for a breach of Mr. Boudram's constitutional right to a fair trial. The argument was that the collective privilege that Parliament enjoyed meant that its proceedings could not be inquired into or impeached in a court of law. In that case, Mr. Justice Hammersmith held that as long as, and I quote, as long as what is said in Parliament by a member does not infringe the provisions of the Constitution, that immunity, and he's speaking there of the privilege, is assured. But he went on to say, crucially, that a democracy which claims not only to have respect for the fundamental rights of its citizens, but which makes express provision in its constitution to entrench and preserve those rights, should never appear to entertain the suggestion that members of Parliament are free to do what they like, provided it is done within its walls. The oath taken by its members demands of them respect for the Constitution. In the Trinidad and Tobago Civil Rights Association versus the Attorney General of Trinidad and Tobago, which is another of Mr. Miraj's cases, and I must confess I happened to be on the other side of that at the time as Attorney General. Gobin G. observed that parliamentary privilege must yield to the court's duty to give the Constitution the primacy which it is due. The case was subsequently overruled by the Court of Appeal, but that dicta, in my view, represents an accurate statement of principle.